I greet our fathers and our mothers who are here to witness this occasion again. I say thank you all for coming. I recognize the presence of Adedipe, 1953 set. Can you imagine that student? Someone who attended this institution in 1953 is here seated with us. I will tell you something striking about him. I will tell you something striking about Pa Adedipe. You see, when we have events like this, and we have people like him amidst us, it tells us that this institution is the father of all. Pa Adedipe was the first person to come into this hall this morning. Please, that round of applause again for him. If we stand up and give him an ovation for that particular thing, it's not too much. A standing ovation for Pa Adedipe, please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are indeed very grateful to you, sir. And as it is now, I wouldn't know what to do next without the master of ceremony. I wouldn't know. Given that, anyway, while we await his arrival, may I humbly introduce you to our guests here today. Okay. May I humbly call on Dr. T.M. Salisu to lead us in prayer on this occasion. Dr. T.M. Salisu, sir. We're so bami.
Ẹ jókòó. Sallu ala nabi karim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim wa barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim fil alamin innaka Hamidum Majid. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa will continue to be blessed, so that we will continue to contribute to the sustainable development of Ijebu Muslim College. All this we ask in your name. Let all of us recite Surah Al-Fatiha. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. La hawla wala quwwata illa billahil aliyyil azim. Sallu ala nabiyil kareem.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, students, a round of applause for our daddy. A very dedicated and passionate host student of Ijebu Muslim College. Thank you very much, sir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we want to move to the next on the agenda for this event. And shall we be all standing as we take the school anthem together? One, two, go. On the Lagos Benin Road stands Ijebu Muslim College, a place for the culture. Muslim College, Muslim College, Muslim College, we will be upscale of Musobuko. Let's be seated. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want you to, please students, privates, I want you to take your position. Let's enjoy this lecture together. I'd like to welcome us to one of the major events of this noble and respectful association, and that is annual lecture. We are so passionate about this. It is not only the building that we focus on as students of Ijebu Muslim College. We also look at human capacity building, channeling and redirecting the focus of the students and giving them a soft landing as they progress in their academic career. Permit me to recognize those on the high table. Right in our midst, we have the National Executive Officers of this Ijebu Muslim College, Student Association, ably led by no other person than the President. And we have in our midst our respected, humble, dedicated, indefatigable, retired but not tired, one and only general in our midst. I call him Ro. I have a role model to follow, and that is my model. We have in our midst General Kamaldeen Abiodun Role, that's the national president. we purposely mentioned that for some of us, majorly the students, that did not know who the president is. I know some of us are just witnessing one of those events. That's why I mentioned him to all of us. He has his team, the VP1 is also here present, and permits me to also mention him, and that is Otumba Wale Salani. That's the Vice President 1. We also have in our midst the Vice President 2, which happens to be the chairman of this event, the chairman of the planning committee of this event, and that is Asiwaju Adeniji Taiwo. That is Vice President 2. Permits me to also skip others. We have all the national executive here present. We recognize our presence. And we also have the chairman of the occasion in our midst. We have our guest lecturer. I will call on the chairman of the planning committee to do that. He will do the justice. He will introduce the chairman of today and also the guest lecturer. But moving to the next on the agenda, I want us to go straight to item 3, and that is the President's welcome remarks. Thank you very much. A round of applause as we welcome him to the high table.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The chairman of the Board of Trustees and members of the Board of Trustees that are present here, the chairman is on his way. I also recognize our chairman for today's occasion, Engineer Femi Taylor, our guest lecturer, Professor Kola Odunaike, members of the National Executive that are present here. I recognize all presidents and members of all IMCOSA sets that are here. I hope the representative of the Ministry of Education is also here. And the Zonal Education Officer. I also recognize all the invited schools that are here. I also recognize all their accompanying teachers that are with us here today. I recognize the hardworking principals of the junior and senior secondary school of Ijebu Muslim College. And last but not the least, the students of Ijebu Muslim College. Up school. It's a great pleasure to be here today. The topic of our discussion today is on youth education, an avenue for individual and community development. Education is the bedrock on which human development lies. Education is the propeller that blows the wind of development. We keep on emphasizing youth education, youth education, youth education because you, the youth, as the balance often goes, are the future. You are our future.
You are our successors. And the best we can do for you is to ensure that we encourage continuous education of the youth. The guest lecturer will say more on this, but I want us to please take away the core and the content of the lecture that will be presented today. It's on this note, I want to please appeal to us. I want to appeal to us that when the lecture is going on, let's have less distractions. Less distractions. We cannot invite eminent personalities to come in here and students and all the members of the floor will be walking up and down. It's quite distracting. I'm appealing to you. So please, let the distractions be very few. I'm also appealing that you'll do us a lot of favor if you put your phone on silent. One innovation that has been brought to bear right now is that as we are talking right now, we are being watched direct from the UK, direct from the United States. It's the first time it is happening. So that all members of IMCOSA who are unable to be here with us physically today can join us live on stream. Any of you that has your phone here, just go ahead and go to the link and then you'll see. As I'm talking to you, one of my classmates, Mr. Amzad, is live. He was the first person that sent me a text that now he could hear us loud and clear. So on this note, I want to say you're all welcome and we look forward to a very good session. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Wow. Wow. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you've heard the President's welcome remarks, and while that is said, the Chairman of the Board of Trustees has just joined us now. I introduce to you Chief G.O. Olorode. A round of applause for him. Chairman, Board of Trustees. You are welcome, sir. Bàbá o, bàbá o, bàbá o, Olúwa dá bàbá sí fún wa. Bàbá o, bàbá o, bàbá o, Olúwa dá bàbá sí fún wa. Over to you. Well, we are so privileged to be part of this wonderful event. And once again, as students, I want you to say it together. You are welcome, sir. So thank you very much. Daddy, we welcome you and we appreciate your presence in our midst. Permit me to bring to the podium Aṣíwájú Adéníjì Táíwò to bring to us the names of both the chairman and the guest lecturer for this event. Please, I want us to put our hands together
as he comes to the podium for that. a professor of physics, and at the Olabisi Onabanjo University. He had his primary education at Wesley School, Shagamu, started his secondary education at Christ Apostolic Grammar School, Iperu, but transferred to Ijebu Muslim College in 1969, graduating in 1972. Professor Secondary School before going to University of Ife, Ile-Ife, now Obafemi Awolowo University, in 1976 to read engineering physics, graduating in 1981. He then went to the University of Ibadan, where he had both his master's degree in physics as well as PhD in physics in 1993. Professor Odunaike's professional life has been largely about academics, mainly within the university system. His mainstay, he taught in a few higher institutions, including Federal Polytechnic, Bauchi, Oyo State College of Education, Ilaro-Ogun, as well as Ladoke Akintola University. To now a senior professor at the university. Institute of Physics. Now, with all that I have said, it will be tempting for anyone to think that Professor Odunaike has no other life outside of academics and the university system. But this is not exactly correct. The prof is also social as well as a family man. Professor Odunaike is a member of the Ijebu Club and has severally been the chairman of Rotary Club of Nigeria, Ijebu, a position that he currently occupies. Professor Odunaike is married to Dr. Mrs. K.O. Odunaike. You guess it, a lecturer at the Taisholari University of Education in Ijebu, and they are blessed with children. Kindly help welcome our guest lecturer for today, Professor Rasaki Odunaike.
Thank you so much, sir. Our prof, it is not time. We'll call you. Once again, we want to appreciate everyone for making it a date to be part of this wonderful event.
permit me to recognize the presence of some respected elders in this auditorium. It will be open prayer. We have already introduced him. And on the high table, permit me to also recognize the presence of our amiable principals. And we have in our midst the principal for the senior secondary section of Ijebu Muslim College, and that is Mrs. Adeliro Idris. She's rightly seated here with us, supporting us in this event. We want to call her the chief host of this event. We also have, sitting right beside her, Mrs. Jimo. That's the principal for the junior section of the school. You're also welcome, ma'am. Also in our midst, we have some of the respectful elders. Permit me to just mention one of them. Permit me to just recognize our daddy, Otumba Adedipe. He came even before everybody. We welcome you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. That's the whole state present in this auditorium. Thank you, sir. That's set 53. I also recognize the presence of all other respectful and respected host students that are here seated. We appreciate your coming. My colleague, both in the junior section and senior section of the school, you are all welcome to this event. Great staff of Ijebu Muslim College, can we wave our hands together? You are all welcome for this event. We also have in our midst the principal of Muslim Comprehensive High School. Yes, Mr. Busari, you're welcome, sir. Also, we invited so many schools. We hope they will join us as we commence this event. We have ably represented here Muslim Comprehensive High School students. Please, can you wave your hands? You're welcome. We appreciate you for making it a date. Thank you so much. So we want to move to the next on the agenda, and that is chairman's remark. So I want to call no other person than Engineer Femi Halentilo, the General Manager Engineer, Nigerian Port Authority, Lagos, for his opening remark. You're welcome, sir.
The Chairman, Board of Trustees, Baba Olorode, the President of INCOSA, retired General Kamaldeen Role, the guest lecturer, Professor Rasaki Odunaike. Our Baba, who is the oldest alumni here, I greet you, sir. All protocols observed. It is my honor and privilege to be in your midst today, particularly so because I attended Loyola College, Ibadan. I am a Christian, and I'm being invited to chair an occasion of a Muslim school. We all know the controversy surrounding Muslim, Christian, Muslim, Christian, and whatever. I believe this event practically destroying all these myths and shows that we are just one people. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me immense joy and to participate in this kind of event where we can interact between the older colleagues and our junior students coming up. When I finished my school so many years back, then all we knew was that with hard work, diligence, and perseverance, you will succeed in life. But let's fast forward to the present day. What do we have today? Most of our students believe in this fast life. Yahoo, yahoo. So many things to make it in the society. But this kind of event let us teach the children that there are other ways with which you can grow. It is a sort of way of encouraging them, developing them academically, mentoring them in their formative years, and building a kind of a strong foundation and positioning them for future success. I'm very sure members of the IMCOSA will agree with me that this is one of the key reasons we're having this event, to try and mentor these our students. The youths and the students are the future of the society. This kind of event is sort of molding them for our future society. We are building a society of the future. I call on IMCOSA not to relent in this. I learned this lecture has been coming up over the years. I appeal to them to please keep it up. They shouldn't relent. They should know that they are contributing something to society, our future society. Please let us all listen attentively to our guest lecturer, Professor Odunaike. From his CV that they have read, I know it will do justice to what we are here for. And I pray that we listen attentively and to be well composed to listen to his delivery. Thank you and God bless. Up Musadiko.
Thank you so much, sir. Now to the event of today. Please, I want to advise all students, get your writing materials ready as we go to the main event for this event. I have the singular honor to bring to the podium to take the lecture the guest lecturer for today's event. And that is Professor Kola Odunaike. Is the Director of Quality Assurance, Department of Physics, Olabisi Onabanjo University, Agoiwoye. You're welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. Aside from that, I want to recognize the BOT chairman. You will have forgotten many years ago, precisely in 1991, he hosted me in his house at Lagos. Oh, he's not listening. I'll talk with him much later. Mr. Chairman of the occasion, I was trying to remind the chairman of the BOT when he hosted me in 1991 at Lagos, he and his wife. I was the guardian of your daughter, Ijebu. Thank you very much. My prayer is that we're all sure that we will rise and shine and bring appreciation to Mkosa institution. But as I welcome you, I would like to talk to you about life in this beautiful place and acknowledge you for the experience that will come across you. Life here is simple but exciting. It is my pleasure to welcome everyone to this our beautiful venue for today's lecture. They are not projecting that thing. Sorry, I brought some papers. Thank you. I have broken the outlines as follows. Introduction. What do we mean by ages? And who are these youths? Youth's contribution to national development? Of course, it's supposed to be a positive development approach. And how does it entail? What are the developmental assets of youth? With that, there are challenges of youth participation. From there, I jump to conclusion and recommendation. They are my references. By literature, there are 4 categorization of ages. 0 to 14, otherwise known as pediatric group. Between 0 to 14, 0 to 7 is very, very risky. If any parents got it wrong, there's a problem. I remember my chairman was saying something that youth now are disappointing. Some of them are going into some ugly things, like Yahoo and so on and so on. This is the beginning. 0 to 7. If you can escape 0 to 7 and move on to 7 to 14, then you have a good training there. From 15 to 47, this is where some scholars classified it as youth group. 48 to 63, we call it middle age group. And once it is greater than 64, we call it elderly group. So who are these youths? United Nations tried to regularize the definition of youth. And it stated clearly, a youth is someone whose age is between 15 and 24 years. By statistical analysis, the scholar compounded that the youth population within this age, 15 to 24, will rise by 74% between the year 2015 to 2035. If that is the case, there is no way there could be development without the participation of youths. Based on the record of the World Bank, it stated clearly that Nigeria is going to witness a quantum jump of numbers of youths. And of course, you can see it's happening. If you are a witness to the answers, you will know that there are youths in this country. Aside from Nigeria, some other 9 countries will follow. Democratic Republic of Congo, Ethiopia, Angola, Kenya, Egypt, Niger Republic, Pakistan, Uganda, and Tanzania. How is it? By the scholars' estimation, it said by 2030, presently there are 1.4 billion. But by 2030, the population of the youth will increase to the tune of 377.4 million. That is to say, youths who are students. You know, not all youths are students. There will be another counting job by 2035 to 471.4 million. And by 2040, it's going to be 594.1. You can see. But be that as it may, when compared between 1970 to 2000, a period of 30 years, that was what you call 281 counting job. 281% counting job. This is so say that youth participation in national development is a must. And of course, how would they contribute to national development? You have to start from the grassroots, community. Your impact must be felt from the community. So, no nation survives without youth. And their participation will be so challenging and rewarding too. Of course, those of us that are adults will refuse to recognize the talents of the youth. We refuse to organize them into valuable projects in order to tap their assets. We refuse to strengthen their skill for better tomorrow. But responsible adults will tap this, and youth contribution to healthy communities will be felt. If that is so, it is so rewarding. Such youth will be good citizens of their community. The community will be strengthened properly. There will be community growth. There will be community development. Of course, there will be community decision-making targets. Many youths are never involved in community decision. But the moment you involve them, they exhibit commitment and demonstrate citizenship. They will be able to meet their own subsistence needs. It will prevent and reduce vulnerabilities to economic, political, and social unstable environments. It will promote ownership and sustainability of change intervention. How then do we get used to be involved? There are two ways you can get used to be involved. Of course, if I should just call 3, 4, 5 people here, kindly help me to come and do certain work on the main road there. And I promise I will give you some money. Yes. Some youths love that one. We call it tokenistic superficial participation. That is not a good one. When you are invited to participate in your community development as a result of what you benefit economically, that is not too good. We call it symbolic gesture. However, when we say youth participation, we mean deep or meaningful participation, which involves young people's experiencing element of citizenship and democracy in their everyday lives. A real and holistic situation with meaningful outcome or actions. I remember when I was a student here, many years ago, we had a teacher there. Was a Mr. Kingwane, but we call him Kobesho. So you know, most of us who are teachers, you students, you give us nickname. You call that nickname from the subject he's teaching. We call him Kobesho. There was an attempt by this school to establish a swimming pool around that field there. Once you committed any offense, or you erred in one way or the other, instead of sending you home or beating you, they send you to the ground there. I was surprised that project was not accomplished. By now, well, we are proud of this school, and I'm sure you too, you are very proud of this school, my good schoolmates. We are schoolmates. Despite the fact that I may be your father or your grandfather. We are off school. Yes. If that swimming pool had been accomplished, I'm sure it had been an obvious change. But things are changing. Governmental policies, socio-logical, detrimental thing, and so on and so forth. But be that as it may, it will involve involvement of youths. We involve good democracy in their everyday lives, and outcomes, there will be outcomes. The youth participation can thus be regarded as a process of guiding and designing both micro and macro society with young people under the supervision of responsible adults. With that, there will be what we call positive change or changes for sustainable development. Everybody has been talking about sustainability, SGD, Sustainable Development Goals. I think our target in Nigeria is 2030. I'm just praying we achieve that particular goal. Now we are running on generator. It's not sustainable. There must be 24/7 power generation. We'll get there. Youth participation can therefore be summarized as this in 4 categories. Economic participation, that is relating to work and development. 2, political participation, relating to local, national, regional, and international decision-making process. Because you are aware 2023 will soon be around. You'll be hearing so many stories. What do they call it? OB something. This movement of the youth. But we're not here for that. But youth can change the orientation of the society for better situations. Again, social participation. We just concluded the Judoba after the Ijebu. For those who attended the place, you will see that it was a meaningful event. Social participation. And lastly, cultural participation, which relates to the arts, cultural values, and expression. What is the approach to get youth involved in those 4 categories? The only approach is positive youth development, which is the best approach out of all the approaches that you can come across. It is better option because it focuses on their positive qualities. assets rather than the way, or rather than the risk that we are going to encounter when you relate with youths. And this particular approach can be internal or external. Internal assets are qualities a young person possesses and the ideas such person has. While the external asset is the relationship of the youth. You interact easily with outsiders, outside your community, freely. That interaction can bring development. That is external assets. So, mentors, who are these mentors? The adults who are going to get these particular qualities out of the youth are called mentors. Mentors can foster both types of assets to help youth make positive contribution to the communities and show the community their potential to be beneficial and successful in life. The more assets a young man has, the more likely he or she is to have positive outcome and fewer risk behaviors. But before a youth can actually contribute positively to his own community, such youth must possess 5 characteristics. 1, such youth must be competent. 2, such youth must be confident. 3, such youth must have character. 4, such youth must have connection. And then such youth must be caring. There are 5 C's for effective and good management of youths: competence, confidence, character, and connection, and must be caring. Of course, I don't want to take you too much. When you say you are competent, your model decision making is key. Before you act on anything, you must decide to know the positive aspect and the negative, that is pros and cons of such thing. And it is an ability for youth to make choices and decide what they really want to do. Confidence, like I mentioned earlier, you must be skillful. Every youth has some skills. Every youth has some skills. If it's only singing, if it is singing, you can be singing. You will be entertaining those who are working on the farm. You are contributing. And by that, we can empower youth to lead activities, that is to lead a group activity, or using good communication with others. Like I mentioned, I told you while I was a student here, we are in so many things. Character, you must be a good citizen. You don't lie, you say the truth all the time, and you demonstrate leadership responsibility. You must be able to mix properly, interact, not only with your age mates or with other communities, both male and female. You should be able to mix and interact. Of course, you must be your brother's keeper. That's caring. You must be caring very well. So it's our responsibility as elders to guide the youth to practice telling someone how they feel on anything around them, particularly on what bothers them. But without this, there are so many challenges youth are facing. And this is very serious in the present day country. Our youth are not exposed to qualitative education and training. I mentioned it. 0 to 7, when you are growing up, when you see babies, even less than 2 years, you are talking to them and say, bring something, you say, Asko, that's bad manners. Where did you learn it? Of course, watching video. Most of us who are alive actually corrupted this nation. Because our position is that the kind of suffering I encountered during my growth, I will not want my children to face such challenges. So they do this for you. How many of you, my schoolmates here, who can prepare soup aside from Indomie? If I call few ladies there, the few guys there, what can you prepare? Say Indomie. And then they put fried egg on it. That is it. This is not right. You should learn to get involved right from home. Assist your parents in the cleaning of the environment, the house, and so on and so forth. You'll be picking up the skill gradually. By that, by the time you are getting to GSS 1, GSS 2, GSS 1 to 3, you will have been able to effectively do things by yourself with little or no corrections. SS 1 to 3, of course, you are already taking decision by yourself. You want to be this, I want to be that. Well, I remember it was when I was in class 3 that I knew I was really taking the direction. I said, yes. I was going to work with EC. So I'll be reading engineering. So by the time we selected our subjects, I was very good in history class. Mr. Suson was our history teacher then. I had to leave history class and join physics class because I had the ambition to work with NEPA. It was not NEPA then, it was ECN. And that's how I started. My ambition, when I got admitted into University of Ife, now Pavemelo University, I wanted to read electrical electronics. But I think, yes, it was Obasanjo who was there. For those of us who made 4.0 and above, we were canceled that this country will be going nuclear and they want to provide electricity. And that was the beginning of the establishment of the department where I graduated. We call it engineering physics. Under engineering physics, we have nuclear sciences, we have material sciences. And they promised us that by the time we got to part 3, all of us will be on full scholarship. There will be iron and steel. But unfortunately, political decisions and governmental decisions flood everything. And that's why I said our qualitative education is weakened seriously because we do not know the direction we are going. ASUU has been on strike by 14th of August. It will be exactly supposed to be outside the university education. Polytechnics are there, this and that. That's one. Two, data collection on use, information, the real interest of use. We don't have such data collection. Again, even the youth that struggle to do one thing or the other or went through school, there is what we call use of employment and underemployment. It is worrisome. It's highly worrisome. Among the Okada drivers, I have encountered people with master's degree there. Few of them had masters. But they are becoming rascally. If a PhD holder start riding bikes now, within 6 months, it will be transformed to rascality. It's an unfortunate thing that our youth are never been considered in the decision making. Youth poverty. This is another technical issue. There is poverty all over the land. And the youth are being affected. This youth poverty actually truncated youth into some other vulnerabilities. Drug addiction, HIV/AIDS, and many other menaces that we cannot mention. So, these are the challenges of youth. And I pray that God will make us to overcome all these challenges. Yeah, you are saying amen. Make sure if you are above 18, go and register for our PVC so that you can be part of the decision for the presidency of 2023. I'm not a politician, I'm just trying to counsel you. Another problem is that actions not always taken in youth's best interest by selfish adults. Their decisions are not as favorable to youths. And of course, systematic discrimination against young women. Well, this is a good one. Those of us, those of you who are female, you have to be extremely careful. You have to tread softly. You are a special species. Now, once you are dented one way or the other, that is the end of the future for you. And you boys, too. Smoking, cannabis, and some other drugs, drinking, alcohol, and so on and forth. It should not be part of your characteristics. Of course, youths are so fond in smoking tobacco, despite the wide range of advertisement that smokers are likely going to die soon. Youth interest often disregarded. I'm going to get training today. Don't let him come in. It is wrong. Then, globalization and the digital divide. That's what the youth are getting more concentrated on ICT. If any of the youth should pick any phone now, they can do anything with it. So the globalization and the digitalization is separating the youth from meaningful community development. With all these challenges that the youth are facing, what are the ways forward? The way forward are as follows. The imperative youth participation in any nation building needs to be fully recognized at all levels. Local, community, national level, international level, with actions taken to consolidate their parts. Provision of opportunities of youth to build their own capacity to participate in development, to harness the huge potentials of human capital, and this could have enormous economic, cultural, political, and social advantages. Youth participation is an essential strategy for ensuring young people's optimal development and for achieving wider development goals for society. Of course, where the youth are not participating, nothing will come up at that level. Nothing. I'm therefore encouraging you to get involved. Listen to youths, that's we adults, and engaging them in the process of strengthening participatory democracy, which can lead to better decisions and outcomes. Easy access to qualitative educational opportunities. Well, it's going to reduce illiteracy and improve the coverage and quality of education and training received. It encourages personal educational improvement and training in such a way that youth, after training, can enhance their careers for increased productivity and higher wages, thereby contributing meaningfully to society life or social life, as the case may be. Developing and or strengthening opportunities for young people to learn their rights and responsibilities, thereby by promoting their social, political, developmental, and environmental participation, and removing obstacles that may affect their full contribution to society and respecting entirely freedom of association. Encouraging and promoting youth association through financial assistance and sponsoring educational and technical support for the promotion of the activities. Of course, when you promote youth association, look at the regular that we have in Ijebu land. All of them converged when they were youth. You will see Baba Keye Ark. Baba Gimo, so. They started when they were youth and bring development together. And you can see, if you compare the development within the Ijebu law or Ijebu communities compared to 70s, you will see that it is very, very enormous. So try to get involved in a association through financial assistance and fostering educational and technical activities. Of course, youth can contribute in designing, implementing, and evaluating policies and plans at all levels of governance. Improving access to information in order to enable young people to make better use of the opportunities to participate in decision making. And I advise that there is no country or nation or even community that will ever grow and develop without youth participation. Your relevancies are very, very important, and therefore, I want to say that may we overcome the challenges before us and be part of the contribution towards our development goal. It's not too late. I want to really appreciate the organizers of this particular occasion that recognizes the participation of youth from the community level up to the national stroke international level. Because without you youths, nothing may work. So it is our responsibility to give you good direction and direct you accordingly. Based on my short story, this, well, I thought they are projecting it. I want to say this is my short story for your digestion and further useful implementation. Thank you, and God bless you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think Professor Rasaki Kolawole Odunaike deserves more than that. Let's give him a standing ovation. Thank you very much. You may be seated. On behalf of the National Executive, sir, we appreciate you, sir. God bless you. And may I equally inform you that Professor Rasaki Kolawole Odunaike is equally one of us. That is to tell you, particularly the students that are here, that IMCOSA continues to produce so many reputable, astute, and good people in Nigeria. We have so many professors here. We have Major General retired, and we still have more to come. And with due respect to the chairman of the occasion, I want to as well mention that IMCOSA is so much concerned about the youth. The last annual lecture was on youth empowerment through literacy and vocational skill. And for this 2022, it is equally on youth education, an avenue to individual and community development. A round of applause for IMCOSA. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to question and answers. And let me quickly inform our students here and our teachers from other schools who are here present. This is time to ask questions. It is not that the guest lecturer has come with his questions. But the intention is we want you to raise the question, and just like he submitted in his paper, he is very, very available to answer any of your questions. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Yeah, our distinguished old students that are online, those that have joined us over the globe, our questions are also welcome. You can send it via the chat on Zoom line, and all those questions I want to believe will be well attended to. So for those of us that are here present, if you have any question, we have the floor now. Yes, I have number one at the back. I expect our students to ask more questions. Okay, I've seen about 3 hands on this right side of my. Okay. I've not seen anybody from the students. Okay, I've seen one. Okay, permit me to first. Let me allow the student first, then we'll come back to the parents. You have the floor, you can come. A round of applause for her, everybody. You tell us your name, your class, and your question.
My name is Sakata Ijebu. I'm from SS1C. I want to ask a question that how is systematic discrimination to young women? How is systematic discrimination to young women? Is systematic discrimination to young women?
You've gotten it, sir. Okay, sir. Do you want all the questions asked, then you now answer them? Okay. Okay. The next, please, I want to call the man at the back. I think I saw your hand first. You can move closer. Okay, that's the imam of the school. That's the chief missionary of okay.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Alhaj Salman Wakil Olalekan, the staff of Ijebu Muslim College, and also the Northwest Zona Missioner of Ogun 2. My erudite scholars are the professor. Thank you for a very fantastic lecture that you have given us today. Well, sir, you mentioned, okay, let me mention my observation first. I want to congratulate the old students, but sir, subsequently, I want this type of symposium or lecture to be extended to the parents of our kids, because the problem we are having in this society now, as you've rightly said, yes, it lies, maybe the perspective that I'm looking at it, it lies in the hand of 3 categories of people. 1, the parents. 2, the children. 3, the government. Yes, I think if some of our parents are here present this afternoon to listen to your lecture, maybe it will affect some of them to change their attitudes towards how they bring up all these children. Teachers, our own effort is very little because they have to spend like 8 hours with us before going back home. The rest, 14 hours, lies on the parents' hands. Some of these kids, if you ask them one by one, they are facing a lot of challenges from home, and which we, the teachers, can only do little. If a teacher teaches science, biology, chemistry, physics, mathematics from morning till evening, but the child was engaged with another thing at home, it will go into futile. That is number one. Number two, the government. Yes, the government are our major problem because they are not helping the situation at all. Why? Because if the parents know that it is their responsibility to purchase textbooks for the children, I think they will buckle up. But telling them not to buy is not to buy them. Even the ruler, I will be. In relation with the old students, they can purchase mathematical sets, Profigur's table. What again? What have you for even students of science classes in our school? I think the other one is the student by themselves. They don't detect themselves. If you ask some of them, what do you want to become in future? They don't know. They don't know. So that one also lies on their own part. That is, they should know whom they are, detect themselves, and prepare for their future. You too, sir, they should see you as a figure. How do you become a professor? It's not a day, but it's a strategic planning towards your future, and you mount the place. So it lies, that is my own observation and question, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Your question is noted by the guest lecturer. I equally want to read online a question to our guest lecturer from Mr. Rashid Ali Balogun. His question is this: how do we solve policy implementations? Can we really vouch these lectures go beyond the walls of the lecture hall? That's his question from Rashid Ali Balogun. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to recognize, and with the permission of the national president, to as well invite him to the top table here, a distinguished all students, now an executive chairman of Ijebu, the local government. I introduce to you and I welcome Alhaji Emilola Tunde Gazal to the high table.
Yes, thank you. Okay, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Let me attend to these three fundamental questions. The first question was, how was this systematic discrimination? How do we arrive at it? When you say something is systematic, it's a very gradual thing. I will give an example. Let's consider a small family, a family, and the head of the family is giving birth to only the female ones. The peer group of the head of the family may start poisoning that man's mind. It's very, very common. So you cannot get a male child. Why is this female? You must have somebody who bears your name. Now, the training of such people will start declining. Such that, at the end of the day, those who are born by that way may not have any impact towards the growth and development of his or her environment. This is discrimination against the opposite sex. It's too rampant in Africa, particularly, where the opposite sex are not being encouraged. And it is systematic. In science, we call it systematic error. You start adding to the problems of the particular youth. And before you know it, that youth will think she's valueless and will not be able to go further. Like some other peers, and like our other peers, in formulating policies, in taking good decisions, in contributing meaningfully to the environment. So that's what's called systematic. Now, somebody was saying that the organizers of this particular occasion could probably extend such lectures to parents. I was expecting that even the crowd here will be much larger than this. I never knew I was going to address younger ones, our schoolmates who are between the age less than 20, who are not adults. I had a film there that I wanted to show from the beginning of the lecture of a parent who loves to carry her children. She will carry them on the lap and be watching romantic films. The mother will be watching romantic films, carry the baby, and of course the baby is a girl. See the actions, how they are kissing, doing all ugly things there. The baby started picking those things up. The child was picking it up. She was in KG, they call it now this time. A teacher identified her where she was kissing another male student in the toilet. And hence, she was reported to the principal or the headmaster, and the headmaster took a very drastic action, well, let me use that word, expel the student from the school. When they came to when the mother got this information, of course, the school teachers, the principal sent teachers to go and with other teachers to go and meet the parents at home. When they met the parents and they told the parents what their ward was doing, the mother was denying that my daughter can never do such a thing. She was denying very seriously that her daughter could not venture into such thing. And at the end of the day, after much investigation, they found out that it was because she was always carrying the baby when she was 2, 3, 4 years. Watching romantic films that the baby put into her head and started demonstrating it as if it's something very normal. Look at all this careless dressing we're all seeing. I remember in my university one time, we were inviting parents for interview. Despite the fact that you have made the cut-off point, we want to interact with the students. The mother, I think the lady we were supposed to admit the lady for pharmacy. The way she appeared, and the way the mother appeared, like daughter, like mother, like daughter. I remember Professor Mrs. Femi Oyewo, who was the dean of pharmacy, said, "You cannot be in my faculty. Look at the way you expose every part of your body." The mother said, this is Western education. What does that got to do with our brain? Yes, it has to do with it. It has to get something with your brain. We parents are too lackadaisical. I remember this social media made me to be aware of that. I was in my university. Many students will take me as a very wicked man. I am very strict when it comes to decorum, dressing properly. You guess what is happening? When you don't tell your wives to the values of what he or she possesses, then not that all these young ladies and boys, they don't know what to do, the right thing to do, but because of what they have been exposed to. Maybe I can only advise the organizers to think about that when parents will be invited. But unfortunately, governmental and political decisions have eroded the powers of most principals. In a school where you cannot cane again, when you cane, they will tell the principal or the teacher to report at the Ministry of Education. And we parents are fond of over-dramatization of caring for our children. If we don't suffer, how will our children really know how to overcome challenges? So that's an issue. Of course, parents need to be talked to. Mr. Chairman, sir, I want to say this one openly. Parents need to be talked to. Parents need to be counseled properly. Then, another question is that the policy we are making, how are they implementing it? They are implementing it shabbily. They are implementing it shabbily because of corruption. Corruption is there. Poverty is another headache. Poverty is another headache. Somebody was saying, yeah, a student can be brilliant. But when he or she gets home, she needs to still do some marketing within the community. Of course, there's nothing bad. I remember when we were very young, around that 5 o'clock, I told you there, my national chairman will remember. I think this Paco used to be the real profession within the Ijebu land. The one that have been discarded, we know how to package them. We'll make them clean, this and that. We'll go and sell between 5 o'clock and 6 a.m. at Ijebu to get little change or changes. But it's part of empowerment. So that we could appreciate dignity of labor. How many youths now appreciate dignity of labor? If I ask some of you, are you ever saving towards an occasion? No. Our parents were encouraging us then, save. If we could save so much, I would ask so amount, and I'll be able to buy you a good shoe, good sandal, good dress, and so on and so forth. But those ones are gone. So, governmental interference in the name of political, for example, this school, we call it Musa Varsity. If this school had been left to the proprietors, I am sure there will be transition to a university setup. And probably I will have taken my degree from this Musa Varsity. But there is lack of commitment from the government. Teachers were not being paid very well. I remember when I was looking for a job, 1974, I negotiated my salary at Muslim Grammar School, Ijebu, with the proprietor. He was looking for a mathematics teacher. And I am very good in mathematics. He had an Indian teacher there. He gave me plenty money, such that at the end of the day, I was taking classes 3 to 5. He dropped the Indian. And the money was given to me. There was no way I could finish spending the money throughout the month. And I was saving towards my university education. So these are the issues, ladies and gentlemen. Let me leave it like that. If there are more questions, 2 or 3 more, then we'll close.
Thank you so much, sir. A round of applause for our prof. Well, we can never exhaust the time we have. Permit me to just allow 1 or 2 more. One from Muslim Comprehensive High School student. Please, you can walk to the front. Yes, come and just 1 more after this.
Can you please, sir, expand? My name is Popola Aminat. I'm from Muslim Comprehensive High School. Can you please, sir, expatiate on how action is not always being taken by the young best interest by adults? Expatiate on how action is not always taken in youth best interest by adults.
I mentioned it. You see, there are a lot of discriminatory decisions against the youth. Well, some people call it oppression. Oppression starts from the family. For the youth not to be able to Not be able to say, this is what I want to reach. In some houses, there are some that's what we call meal timetable. In the morning, Gary in the afternoon, Eba at night. At the end of the day, such child will take those men, will not be able to sleep. From there, he could develop liver problem, could be diabetic, he could drop high blood pressure. Let us, we adults, should allow use in our decision making. At least, as I said, 0 to 7. That's the most hectic period of training of any child. Particularly between 0 to 4, 4 to 5. Such person can be having input. So, but we cannot overrule it, particularly in Africa. But I want to say this one again. Mothers are the ones that are more responsible to the children than the father. The mothers are the owners of the children. Even though we say, ọmọ wa ni. Obìnrin bímọ, olóhùn bímọ fọ́kọ ẹ̀. Olóbìnrin máa ó bímọ fúnra ẹni. So, you need to be so caring for these children and make them to distinguish between bads and goods, worse and better, so that they can distinguish them. When they have done well, commend them. Good. But it will continue unabated until there's total eradication of poverty within the ranks and file. We cannot help it.
From one of the host students, I think we have been represented all. The students, the staff, and now we have an host student.
Good day, everybody on the Ijebu. I stand by the existing protocol. Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you so much for the lecture. My name is Odu Oluwasegun Oluwaseyi Esquire, a member of IMCOSA Set 08. I would like to ask a question in proxy and then a question on my own. The first question is that, sir, kindly tell us about the result of Obasanjo's experiment of brilliant physicians in those days. Brilliant physicians. I believe that there was a time Obasanjo picked a set of Nigerian students who studied physics engineering to go and learn about electrification of Nigeria as a whole. But in those days, the whole thing was shrouded in mystery that we do not know the end result of that. And then as a student of history and being fortunate to be under this lecture, sir, I really want to know the end product of that particular national program then. And then the second question is, I haven't talked about youth education. Sir, I have seen a whole lot of my mates in the past 1 year of being called to bar or immediately after service. They have tried to run abroad, all in the name of, we want to go and complete our masters and all this. Sir, how do we tend to prevent the situation of brain drain in Nigeria? Because if we do not impact our country, nobody will impact Nigeria for us. An American will not come to Nigeria to develop Nigeria. A Chinese will not come to Nigeria to develop Nigeria. At best, what they will do is do business here and take our money over to their country. Sir, how do we prevent a situation of brain drain in Nigeria, sir?
Thank you. We are still discussing about youth empowerment. I do not intend to go outside that, but your question is very germane. Let me say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman and National President, please permit me. If what I'm saying,
The principal, senior and junior secondary school, you are distracting us. We know you have a guest that is just walking in, but the guest lecturer is still in session. Thank you.
thank you, Mr. President. I will try to illustrate this, and some of my colleagues on the table will know what I'm trying to say. 1978-79 session at the Day University of Ife. There was an attempt by the then government under the Ministry of Education that they were going to scrap cafeteria from all universities, and then our accommodation will go up. That time we call it Alingo. The youth demonstrated all over Nigeria University. I was very active within the student union something. And I remember, I personally, with my other friends that were youth, we hijacked a trailer and we attempted to go and face that was stationed along Ife-Ibadan Road. What are government policies? 50 kobo per day, tell the revenue. And the then head of government said it should be one naira. Why will you get one naira? That would mean 3 naira per day. There was no student who could survive during that particular period. But at the end of the day, despite youth involvement to convince the government, that was how Ijebu Okewu lost his studentship from University of Lagos. He was rusticated. Ijebu, and one of that particular committee warned him out. Why? It can continue to go on like that. But unfortunately, you are disappointing. You go forward by 3 steps, you go backward 10 times. Yes, because of corruption. You are no more formidable. Your fluidity is very, very high. Many adults are not even, they don't have any trust in you because you can change your mind on so many occasions. So we need to come together. Of course, because they don't want you used to understand what is going on on the school, so that you not understand.
I won't say we are fed up because we keep learning and we never exhaust learning. While the last question was being answered by Prof, one of our mothers, our principal, a respected and wonderful person in Ijebu, the local government, walked in, and that is no other person, the principal, the senior section of Our Lady of Apostle, the zonal anchors chairperson of Ijebu block. That is Mrs. Oshodi. You're welcome, ma. You're welcome, ma. Well, if you permit me, I will give you a long story about this woman. Once my boss, always my boss, and she will always be a boss. You're welcome, ma. God bless you, ma. Well, we move to the next on the agenda, and I want to move to the next on the agenda, and that is the appreciation time. We want to go to the presentation of awards, and I want to call on the national president to do justice to that. Please join me in inviting the national president of Ijebu Muslim College Whole Student Association, General Kamaldeen Abiodun Role. A round of applause as he comes to the high table.
The Chairman Board of Trustees, members of the National Executive Committee, members of the Board of Trustees, the Chairman, Ijebu, the local government. For the past 3 hours, we've had the privilege. Can the students please give us some quiet? We've had the privilege of having in our midst the distinguished engineer and the general manager engineering for the Nigerian Ports Authority. While we were seated there, he made some commendable comments that as soon as he entered Ijebu Muslim College, apart from the atmosphere, the infrastructure he saw on the ground does not make it look like this is a secondary school. And that when compared with other secondary schools, he couldn't believe that Muslim College has a lot of this structure looking well maintained. Of course, I had to tell him that this is the work of the Old Student Association. And I will tell you, he feels so encouraged and so impressed that he has donated 200,000 naira not a pledge. It's not a pledge. I was given the check right there on the table. Honestly, sir, I don't know how to thank you, but friends like you of Mkosa will always be valued because your encouragement is all we need. And when we get encouragements like this from important personality like you, of course, the impact is transferred on those youth we're trying to bring up. I'm not going to do this presentation myself. I'm going to ask the chairman of the Board of Trustees to please have the pleasure and the privilege to please do it for you. Sir, kindly help us. No, you don't need to leave this place. Kindly help us to give it to him.
Students and the old students here present, I have the privilege to say thank you to our special guest who has given us a large sum of money. You all had it when it was announced. We thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir. My brother, Professor Kola Ojunaike, during the week, we met, even though the meeting was in a solemn environment. And we started chatting. And I was saying, the lecture you are coming to deliver today sounds like a presentation to PhD students. And I said, even me, having gone through the paper, I think I still have to read it the second time. But from the presentation and the PowerPoint explanation, you really made it so easy to follow. And as I'm speaking, there's Mrs. Christine Ogunaike, who is live streaming from London, who has been engaging us in the discussion on this topic. And quite a number of IMCOSA members who are also online who joined this virtual presentation, they'll be sending their commendation. They're so impressed that IMCOSA could go this far. We want to thank you most sincerely that as an ex-IMCOSA, or as an IMCOSA member, not ex, IMCOSA member, you've really made us proud. And this is what we want all of you young students, members of IMCOSA that are present here, to please emulate and encourage. Every time we showcase one of us, we are so proud. And I'm sure the principal of Our Ladies will be sitting with extra gonflated head when she saw what Tobi Amushan did as an ex-student of Our Ladies. That's the way it should be. And that is what we want our youth to develop to be. Prof, it's on this note, I want to sincerely thank you so much, and I have the privilege to present this plaque to you. Furthermore, I also have to say that we have been encouraged. I don't know whether it is my mouth that is sweet. One of Ashwaju's friend, who is also so impressed with this effort, also dropped us a check of 200,000. Now, let it not look like this event today is a fundraising event. It's not. But when people are moved by good and pragmatic effort, honestly speaking, they want to feel part of those good efforts. And I think the chairman of the planning committee as well, who didn't believe this could take place, also added 250,000. So, this is to tell us that a lot of good things are happening in IMCOSA. And I want to encourage us, especially our members that are in diaspora. We know your concern, your emotions, your desires, your expectations. We know how you all feel towards Ijebu Muslim College. And that's why some of us pushed the ego of our status aside and we said, look, we owe this place a lot of responsibility. And that's exactly what we are doing. Sir, the chairman of the organizing committee, I want to thank you immensely for all the efforts you've put in to let this happen today. The chairman of the board of trustees, I want to thank you very much, sir. At your age, you're so passionate about Muslim College. Every time I talk to you, you have one thing or the other to say, and you keep on asking me certain questions. Some of them I can't answer. Not to talk of our Dr. Salisu, our ever passionate chairman, our elders, Baba, we thank you so much. My VP1, can't thank you enough, and all other members of the National Executive Committee. Madam Chairman, your principals are used to me harassing them. So every time I call the senior principal, inside of her will say, Baba, I don't today. But in a more agreeable manner. The presidents of the various sets that are here with us, all the hardworking teachers of Ijebu Muslim College, and all other teachers that have accompanied their schools on this occasion, we want to thank you immensely. Please, don't be tired. The effort is a continuous effort. And we are not going to leave any stone unturned in our responsibility to ensuring that all these young girls and boys that are sitting on our right side get to that level we wish for them. It's on this note I want to say thank you very much for coming, and we look forward to seeing you next year for similar occasions. And we pray that the Almighty God will see you all to your various destinations.
Thank you so much, sir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as we bring this to a close, I want to recognize one of our past presidents, Alhaji Kulode Lawal. You're welcome, sir. And equally asking him to lead us in the closing prayer for this annual lecture. You're welcome, sir. A round of applause once again as he comes to take the closing prayer.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We thank Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us another opportunity to witness and observe one of the series of our program, which is yearly affairs devoted in honor of our school principal. We thank Almighty Allah for giving the member of the planning committee, particularly its chairman, the wisdom in putting this annual lecture together. It is our prayer that the knowledge we have gathered at this particular lecture, in keeping to the motto of our alma mater, which is knowledge is light. We hope that our youths will continue to renew their energy towards positive direction as against the negative trends. We pray that the Almighty Allah will grant us the peace and tranquility environment required to further advance in terms of knowledge. As we all be departing this particular session to continue with our various endeavor today, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect, guide, and direct us. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Lila fi Quraish lila fihim. Raylata shitai wasifi abdul ba'azali biti lazi. Wati amahu min ju'i wa amanahu min yawfi. Sallu ala nabi karim.
Thank you, sir.